Hello my friends, I'm Rich Larson and I'm the IRC Tire Guy. Today we'll be talking techniques for intermediate riders. Now, if you recall, we've recently released a few videos talking about 3 techniques for beginner riders and how we can draw parallels from one technique to another, followed by 3 techniques for more advanced riders and how every one of those techniques are in one way or another connected to the next. If you haven't seen those first 2 videos, make sure to check them out. We'll link them in the description. After releasing those videos, a few guys said they felt like they were above the beginner techniques and below the advanced. So today's video will be for the guys feeling like they're struggling to reach those advanced level techniques. Basically, we'll be bridging the gap and giving you guys a solid progression from beginner to advanced. So let's start with static balance. Once you guys get to the point with your static balance that you feel you can do it just about anywhere, you don't need that front tire in a hole for assistance, and you're pretty comfortable with your balance skill, I think at this point it's a great time to start implementing front wheel hops in your static balance. Now, this may seem like a trials only maneuver, and it is and it isn't. There isn't many times in hard enduro competition where I try to no dab hop my front end from left to right, but there are a lot of advantages in learning this on the big bike. First and foremost, this will take your balance skill to the next level. Basically, it takes another level of balance correction to be able to master this technique. This teaches you how to be centered on the machine, even when moving. It also teaches a higher level of understanding in your suspension, compression, and rebound. The reactionary understanding of your rebound and balance really transfers into hard enduro situations. Correction from left to right, and even using the rebound off one obstacle to another, which is actually something I use quite a bit in hard enduro situations. To me, I look at the ability to hop the front end in any situation as the added ability to completely maneuver your bike in any direction. And that's really what you need in hard enduro. Briefly going over the front end hop technique, I first recommend mastering one hop and returning back to static balance without dabbing. When practicing a hop with the front end while in static balance, my focus is on using my front and rear brakes to keep my machine in one place. This also assists with my suspension, compression, and rebound, which will also help get that front tire into the air. First, learning the coordination for one hop and rebalancing will really help your ability to do 2, then 3, then 4, and so on. Now, you can see whether it's one hop or multiple hops, the maneuver is in my hips. I move forward with my knees to compress the suspension, then of course timing that quick explosion back with my hips and the rebound of my suspension. It's all about timing. Too fast or too slow, you'll find yourself fighting your suspension rather than working with it. I always get asked, do I set up my suspension a certain way to assist with front end hops? The simple answer is no. I set my suspension for hard enduro riding, not practicing front end hops. Another question is, do I use throttle and clutch during the front end hops? The answer is yes and no. I'd recommend learning how to do it both ways, with and without. The ability to quickly slip the clutch to assist will definitely come in handy, but also being able to do it with the bike off is the ultimate goal. For more info on the front end hop, click here to check out our full breakdown. Now, moving on, let's talk loading the flywheel. I spoke ad nauseum about this subject because it is so important. In fact, I plan on redoing our original breakdown on loading the flywheel, which is still a great video, and you can view that here, but there's always room for more info. This is the technique that will allow you to reach the next level in your riding. The lack of education around this subject in the hard enduro community really connects to the lack of knowledge most riders have on this subject. When we talk loading the flywheel, we're really talking where you should be increasing your RPMs when you approach an obstacle. The biggest point I'm making when I say approach the obstacle with a loaded flywheel really is putting all the power to the ground before the obstacle, not while in the obstacle. I see it all the time, but riders tend to approach a rock, log, or ledge by increasing the RPMs while they go over the obstacle. This always causes a lot of rear tire spin. Basically, when practicing the loading the flywheel technique, we drag the clutch and increase the RPMs with the throttle before our front tire even hits the obstacle. Then, using the front tire as sort of a reference point, we release the clutch as soon as the front tire reaches the obstacle. This causes that built-up rotational inertia within your loaded flywheel to be dispersed and transferred to the rear tire with efficient traction. When you have enough built-up inertia via flywheel, you actually don't have to give the machine any additional throttle while in the obstacle. That energy in the spinning flywheel has to go somewhere, and that place is to the rear tire with efficient traction. You really don't need big technical obstacles to practice this. You can find a simple uphill or slight cliff that really doesn't require anything more than your ability to ride right up it. Then practice putting the power down well before the obstacle and finding that correct timing with the quick release of the clutch. Listen to my machine. Find a simple obstacle and copy that sound. This will change your riding. For the final technique, we'll quickly talk switchbacks. We all run into tight turns that require a pivot of the front end. And sometimes in the really steep situations, switchbacks are the only way to traverse an uphill. There are a few ways to approach learning the pivot turn switchback technique. You can first check out our full breakdown here. That's another video I plan on redoing and adding additional info in the future, but check it out anyways. Now, briefly, I recommend learning the pivot turn on flat ground first. There are a lot of different ways to approach this, but one of the main points I do want to make is learn how to quickly get that front end into the air. This is using that loaded flywheel with a quick slip of the clutch with the addition of your suspension compression and rebound to get that front tire into the air efficiently. Now, if you feel like you're chasing after your bike, you can make improvements on how quickly your front tire is getting into the air. Once you feel like you're becoming efficient on flat ground, begin increasing the incline of the area you're practicing on. As this incline increases, now the challenge is to stay above your machine. This all comes down to when I'm weighting my outside peg and when I'm almost jumping above my machine. During the switchback pivot, as my bike is almost aiming straight up the hill, I weight the foot that is on the peg and literally jump with my planted foot. This allows me to stay above my machine. Master everything first on flat ground and then increase the incline. Of course, there are a lot more little tips I can throw into all of these techniques, and rest assured, there are much more breakdowns to come. I hope you guys are enjoying the channel, and if you are, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as follow us on Instagram at IRC Moto and my personal Instagram page at RichLarson511. And until next time, keep shredding.